Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme precept. Yoga Vasistha, Sthiti Prakaraṇa, and section is 19. And the topic is the same old topic. Oldest of all. What is the oldest? The truth. There are two types of old. Old in the realm of time. The old that strips the time off. Sheds the time, transcends the time. That old is the topic of Puranas, the ancient teachings. Ancient doesn't mean you are going back in time. It means transcending the time. To transcend the time, you are the most ancient and most novel. Sri Rama asked, O sage, what brings about the intensification of worldliness in one's consciousness? And what keeps it in a simple, pure state? That's a profound question. The truth is pure awareness. But what creates the experience of this terrible world process that we first explain in an allegorical way? Pure awareness and awareness expressing in three stages within your body. They're called Lokas. Practical world, the world of practical reality, that's awareness experienced by your senses and mind. The world of feelings, sentiments, which is your bigger world. Figure that out. It's much bigger than you can imagine. The whole world will not fit it. Will be simply a drop compared to your world of your feeling. That's called Loka. That's awareness, pure awareness expressing through sentimental aspect of your mind, feelings of your heart. Same awareness expressing through your intellect and through your understanding. Intellect, ego go together. But in that level, what happens? You develop awareness that expresses in the form of how you understand yourself, others. That world of understanding is much bigger than even the world of sentiments. But all these three worlds are bringing about the expression of pure awareness. Pure awareness is without the physical world, without the world of feeling, without the world of your understanding. You have a little glimpse of that when you go to sleep. There's no operation of your senses and mind, no operation of your feelings. And you put your ego like a sandal under your bed. Ego is not there either. They are stripped of three planes. And you don't understand what a mysterious experience you have entered into. And you don't miss any one of them. Having stripped off three planes, you have no one to tell you the story of what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future. How many people are living their lives with so many problems, and how wonderful you are. Nothing. And how many wonderful guests have arrived. Time doesn't matter. Space doesn't exist. That's the picture of pure consciousness. If you are at your core level of your reality, the reality behind all, this pure awareness called Chaitanya, just like behind all illuminations of the sun, the reality is the sun. No matter how the illuminations may give you their different stories. Talk to a sun reflected in a jar. How many things happened during the night? How many roaches jumped into it? Amazing, countless problems. But all these problems are not the truth. They are truth being refracted through illusion. Truth is a sun. Sun didn't undergo any problem. But that is the subtle reality behind every individual. When you look for who am I, the real I am, not the legal I am, that requires only your identity. But sometimes people lose their identity and they're in big trouble. The real identity. Who am I? And that you can discover by yourself. Nobody can extract that identity from you. Show me your identity. You have to realize, who am I? And that's the subtle purpose behind human existence. That's the essence of all religions. I am, that am I. And to discover, allowing your mind, but mind, in order to discover that I am, has to be disciplined and cultured in such a way that it does not work exactly like as it works with objects. You want to understand a mango. Now you have to have a concept of weight, concept of size, concept of form, taste, and so forth. But if you are looking for experiencing Brahman, Brahman is not like the mango. Brahman is beyond concept. That movement, that's the art that you need to learn and evolve in your life through your sadhana. That's what Rama has asked. What causes intensification of worldliness in one's consciousness? That consciousness which is pure, absolutely free from this world process. But what makes a person become so intensely involved with the idea, this is the world you live in, the world where you have physical body, your mind, your senses, and that's not enough. There are countless living beings, and you are interacting relation between yourself and other beings, not only just human beings, even with bacteria. There are good ones, there are bad ones. And there are countless planets and stars, and we are related to all this vast universe. But that's not the picture of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness blended with projections of the mind, that's what gives you this description of the world in so many ways. So when you look for who am I, as your mind becomes highly purified and sees the difference between thoughts of objects and thought process revealing the truth, the difference. Therefore, you need to do japa, meditation, practice serenity. In that process, there is a revelation. But if you are eager, too agitated, who will tell me about Brahma? How does he look like? Suppose he appeared, what should I ask him? I'm making a joke out of it. The human mind goes on working in that direction. And to some extent it is allowed, as long as you understand they are all supports for your meditation. Think of God with form and name, it supports. When you really enter into meditation, there is no name, no form. I will not let you lead you that way so much, but all this is implied in this study. So living a life where worldliness becomes strong, worldliness in three planes, bhur, bhuva, swa, that becomes your reality. Or living your life where worldliness becomes like soft, fleecy clouds fading away in the vastness of the sky. You are the sky. All this world, etc., past, present, future, all these are illusory refractions of consciousness. They don't constitute your consciousness. It's like all illuminations. Whatever they happen to them have nothing to do with the sun. All the clouds, no matter whatever happened to them and whatever drama, nothing touches the sky. So you are like the sun at the deepest reality. You are like the sky. That's the reality. How to attain that? First, to understand what led you who are the sky, what led you to feel you are a sky caught in a pot ether, space in a pot, a space caught in a needle. How can there be division in that space? What made you develop the feeling, I am an individual soul, I'm a jiva, and so forth? Sri Vasistha explained, O Rama, when there is an awareness of stability in one's perception of the world, it's called waking state. But when there is an awareness of its instability, it's called dream state. And when it seems to disappear, called sleep state. That's a simple illustration. What happens? But this is not a positive aspect. Positive, what I'm implying when we say this is a waking state. Waking state is not the ideal waking state. There are two types of waking state. You are awake and you go on creating karmas. And you go on coming back in the cycle of birth and death. That type of being awake, which is worldly waking state, that's not spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening, when you develop aspiration for spiritual evolution, aspiration for enlightenment, that life has a purpose, and the purpose is not nowhere in the world to be found. The purpose is an internal revelation. Who am I? Revelation that the I am in you, the ego, has no reality. Brahman alone is real. I am Brahman. Not an intellectual grasp, but a mystical revelation. That's the purpose of life. When you develop that type of understanding in your life, that's called Jagrat Avastha. That's your awake from a spiritual point of view. But before I go into giving you the positive counterparts, follow the simple experience that you have. Things that have been brought to your mind again and again, and they have become mature in their creating their impression. That is your awaking state. But the same things to which you are awake today, as your mind moves away from those realities, say for example you love a particular object, a particular person, and you are awake to it, but due to some frustrating situations, the love didn't stay. Now, yes, once upon a time, that one may experience, but it's like a dream, it passes on. So that's the difference between dream and waking. Same experience. You didn't give much attention to it, it begins to dream away into the dream and into disappearance, sleep. You gave attention again and again, you are not unaware, you become aware. First stage of awareness, slippery, dreamlike. But then you gave again and again more thought to it. Now you're awake to it. How awake? You can't go away from it. You find that awakeful state as your reality. And any idea of losing it is a terrible experience for the mind, terrible tragedy. Now at this time, let me also explain to you. This is the normal experience of waking, dream, deep sleep. Supernormal, waking, you become aware that you live for attaining enlightenment. Now as you advance, the world that was restricting you has become flexible. You begin to realize you are not being restricted the way you thought. Forces of darkness do not restrict you. If you bring light, the darkness is not there. So now the same world, you are viewing it like a dream. That means you are spiritually advanced. You view the world as a long dream. Don't consider it as real waking world. And your goal becomes to be stripped of this world as if in profound sleep. The state of absolute realization is like profound sleep. That's called samadhi, mahasamadhi. The entire world process is experienced in the heart. Here, this heart is not according to Kundalini Yoga. This heart relates to Hridayam, which is also, people point by finger to the heart, but that becomes figurative. And therefore, scriptures talk about realizing God in the cave of the heart. What Kundalini Yoga talks about, Sahasrara Chakra, and they point out Sahasrara Chakra or the crown of your head. Vedanta talks about core of the heart. The moment you start entering into your heart center, Kundalini chakras begin to open. First Mooladhara opened, now you are at the very beginning of the cave. Swadhisthana opened, you went a few feet towards the depth. Manipura opened, you are coming closer to the depth. Anahata opens, you are coming closer. Throat, more. Agya chakra, you are just separated by a little veil. And ultimately you find yourself as the reality as you explore the mystic cave of your heart. Therefore, in Vedic culture, this whole process is described as guidance of Guru. Gu is Guha, cave. Ru, illuminer. The process that allows you to take a flashlight and go into the cave of your heart. Ultimately to discover you are the light of lights. Both the experiences of dream and of the waking world are modifications of consciousness to the subtle desires of the chitta. Now let me explain that point. During dream, 3 points are illusory. 3 components of your dream. The dream subject, the dream world, and the dream experience of pleasure and pain. But you don't mind. And dream brings about experiences that seem absolutely real. If in your dream you get car wrecked and all the tragedy that you experience is in no way different from any tragedy you experience in real world. But what's the difference between the dream world and the real world? Both are made up of the same illusion. The dream is little immature. Waking is mature. What gives maturity? Mental attention. Same thing you are thinking of, and you have not given attention to it. You just thought about it, never acted according to help it, but simply brought in your mind and went from one ear to the other, and from your head slipped away. Then it is like a dream experience. But when you allow it to become day by day your reality, then it becomes waking. Let me give you a more precise way to understand. Karmas sometimes are in immature level. They have been just created karmas by your thoughts, by your ideas, by your imagination, but you have not given much practicality to it. Those karmas will operate in dream state. Now the karmas that you have created, which are mature, you didn't just think of doing it, you actually did it. You didn't think of just writing a nice letter. Rather, I'm talking about the bad letter. And you created in your mind, you wanted to do so many hurtful things, but you didn't do it. So therefore, the karma you have generated will appear in your mind in dream state like a short little dreams, disturbing type, and they will go away. Put it in more simpler way to understand. If you have created a negative karma that's going to bring a negative experience, like you will have experience of your car caught into an accident. Now suppose you have entered into sadhana process and have gone to practice more meditation, devotion. That karma becomes reduced. Now what happens? On the day when your meditation was very successful, you have a horrible dream. And if you are immature, you will become discouraged by your sadhana. This is what meditation did to me. You are mature, you will be encouraged and inspired. That is what was going to happen to you in your real life. But your sadhana reduced it. So it just happened in your dream. Karma that is mature, strong, that will work in your practical daily life. But the karma that has become immature, that how can it be done? If your mind doesn't give too much interest, a certain karma, you begin to view it as your swadharma. You don't view it as a reality. But you are a channel of God and you are performing your duties. You work in the kitchen, you don't hold the kitchen in your mind and your heart all the time. Then the world begins to develop. It becomes like a dream. Same experience that turns into waking state, very real, turns into fading state, like a passing dream. All is the magic of mind. It is solely the deluded vision that the world is real that causes the soul to experience numerous births and deaths. This point has to be understood. As long as your mind has not understood that what you really want in this want for yourself is happiness. And put it more extensively, you want to hold on to this profound truth, Saccidānanda. Deep down, every soul has the urge to experience absolute existence. The idea that of mortality is not deep-rooted. Therefore, all animals and birds, in their mind, they always want to run away to prevent death. No one wants to die. No one believes in death. a deeper core of their heart. Because the reality is you are Sat. You are immortal. That's the reality. Next aspect of the reality, you are pure awareness. Everyone wants to experience more and more. So many times have come when all your senses and all your nerves have been fed with best or worst of all experiences. But there is no real satisfaction. We are planning to go somewhere else. Looking at Google for more pleasure centers. The reality is that you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to look for yourself in the realm of your mind. You are beyond your mind. And all the picture of success, etc., that you get is in and through your mind. Think of a person who develops the idea, unless I see somebody's face in my pad, my day will not go well. And happiness. Everyone wants to be happy. Saccidānanda. And that happiness is not possible. Whatever happiness you experience in the world is a reflection of happiness, not real happiness. The difference between pure honey or a good artist makes the honey look in the picture precious. But there is a big difference. In other words, all mental concepts, you go after concepts of your mind. You are going after shadows, not reality. Reality is ever existent. Your mind cannot create it. In the world of karma, you have to always be active, because yesterday is gone. Today has its own problems. Face it. Don't worry about tomorrow, it's coming. There's the world of karma. In that world of karma, you can never find absolute happiness. But the world of karma is not deeply involved in your consciousness. Your consciousness is operating through your mind, just like the sun operates through the cloud and turns into rainbow, creates different types of illuminations. All those, and if the cloud becomes so interested in those illuminations, I will be in the sky, dance in it, to look at the rainbow. Literal, it's a good idea, poetic. But practically it is foolish, impossible. In brief, complete absolute tripti, absolute satisfaction cannot be gained by your karma, no matter how wonderful things you do. Karma refers to activities of thought, word, and action. No matter how you think, no matter how you speak, no matter what actions, duties you do, you cannot come to a stage of finding a marvelous palace of happiness that will exist forever. No, not so. Nobody has done it. It's not possible. Liberation, on the other hand, doesn't require your body, doesn't require your mind. I'm talking from the advanced level. Because these are instruments of illusion. The reality within you is not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, and so forth. At the same time, just that shouldn't be deluded. As long as you are living with your body, mind, and senses, you need to be involved in integral yoga, a type of activity that allows your mind to find relaxation while doing all the jobs of the world. You end up purifying your heart and allowing your mind to be calm. If you do that, then real art of life has entered in your heart. Because then in those moments of calmness, your intellect begins to shine without restriction. Otherwise, the intellect is colored by your so many unfulfilled desires. Now the intellect begins to bring out a simple awareness. Just like when headache moves away, what you experience? Your normal head. So, with purity of intellect, what's normal? It is nirmal. Malas don't exist. All impurities have moved away. And clouds have moved away. What is there? The sun, pure sky. You didn't create it, just remove the malas. And discover the very same that you have been working for to have happiness, to have a stability, to have more knowledge, Saccidānanda. You are the repository of all that in a very profound way. You are infinite existence, infinite awareness, infinite joy. In fact, you are the only one. Aham Tattvamasi. Brahman alone is real. You are the only one, the non-dual absolute self. Don't feel lonely. Therefore, having understood the illusoriness of the waking and dream states, one should renounce attachment to all that is transient and illusory. In other words, one should develop Viveka and Vairāgya. Viveka to understand what is eternal, what is transient, what's real, what's unreal, what is serving your purpose or what is just distracting you in this world. That movement is called Viveka, discrimination. And Vairāgya, things that appear with value, but having understood that they are appearances, they don't really have value. The ability to move away the same substance that you looked at with fascinating eyes. Now, first have a disgusting view and then turn away. Don't view at all. Two stages of Vairāgya. Vairāgya that requires your effort. Yatamanam. You look at so much ugliness, your eyes don't want to move away. You want to hate. But how could you hate unless your eyes and teeth are facing the object you hate. I'm joking. That stage of Vairāgya, that's the natural process. Everyone who has not already have the blessings from the past, then that's the way, first stage of Vairāgya, you feel you have been hurt by objects. Look at them and your mind goes on remembering all the negative things the object have done to you. Even about medicine. Took a wrong medicine. You go telling everybody. Yatamanam. But as you get further maturity, you don't go on holding on grudges against so many things. If simply your mind moves away. But this movement is vyatirekam, which means in degrees, depending upon your level of evolution and purity. Some situations, some objects, you are detached. Some things you are not detached. Think of even ordinary illustration. People who are on diet, but when chocolates come before them, so, but with further discipline, you note in your diary a success in your sadhana. Previously, you chewed up 15 chocolates. Now you take only one as a prasad. That's vyatirekam. The next stage is called ekendriyam. Become more mature. It's just a matter of mind. Mind has understood it, and that's enough. Understood this is not what you want. You look at the whole shimmering water and you are thirsty, and then suddenly realize it's a mirage you are looking at. Then that's all. Then simply enjoy it. How wonderful God's creation. But don't go after drinking for it. When that has come, it's called ekendriyam. When it matures, called vashikaram. Your mind remains completely under your control. So far it's called apara vairāgya, lower dispassion. Higher dispassion is the goal, para vairāgya. Para vairāgya means you have no need to go away, no need to remove. If you are dreaming a horrible dream, first stage, a discovery in your heart, it is a dream. All this is not real. That's a big solace. But the reality is you wake up from your dream. Nothing of the dream is held in your consciousness. Paravairagya is absolute deletion, negation of the three words, Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Swarloka. Again, you have to understand these are all lyrical writings. Sages are endowed with paravairagya. In their heart, the world doesn't have the same substance as others have. In other words, if someone attains paravairagya, that doesn't mean the world moves away. In his consciousness, it has been deleted. But in the consciousness of others, the world continues. The world is not a reality. So if someone has cut down his world, that doesn't make any change in the case of those who are attached to the world. Simple point. Detach and attach. That's the mantra. Detach from the world, no matter how things are, positive, negative, prosperity, adversity. Create an art. All these are situations you face, they are giving you opportunities for discovering your goal. Prosperity, if you consider it real opportunity, then you will develop, you will utilize your energy, because prosperity allows you to have more happiness. You are more awake to yourself. Now use that wakefulness for fulfilling your purpose. Whenever there is prosperous situation, ask yourself, what is the best thing you would like to have? And of course, the answer for Vedantic point of view is to go deeper into satsanga, deeper into understanding, go deep with your meditation and sadhana, because you have nothing to complain against. The whole practice wholeheartedly. But if there is adversity, then again, not to spend your time complaining against it, but rather understand that it is an opportunity presented by God, opportunity for austerity. Because it takes a lot of time to understand what is austerity. Sometimes people spend 6 years in a ashram and they don't know what austerity is. A joke. Whenever, simple definition of austerity. First, to understand austerity, opportunity for austerity is a blessing. Austerity is a powerful help for your spiritual advancement. And then, where to find that austerity? You don't have to work for it. Whenever you are facing challenging situations, what's called adversity of any type, continue your self-effort to overcome the adversity. That you should not stop. But while you are doing that, you have time. It's like a plane is coming, but it's not there. So while you are waiting and keeping your ears open to the program, do your japa. Do some pranayam. Open the Gita book. Use your adverse situation without being shaken in your heart. Then what you will realize, you have gained more than ordinary sadhana. When you shine out of adversity, when the moon emerges out of a dark cloud, it shines brighter, believe it or not. The soul becomes brighter, stronger. The prosperity sometimes doesn't give you that much good as you are staying alert, steady, sustained through adversity and emerging victorious. So that's the formula for attaining enlightenment. Detach, attach. Detach from the world, the more you will detach, you become automatically attached to God. Godward movement. And that attachment is simply an allegorical word. You are not attaching. Yes. Reflected sun has a project of shaking hands with the sun, union with the sun. So it learns they are detached from all these parts, detached from all other reflected suns. Let me rise. To attach means it goes on discovering the reality that all this is God. and in practice. That also is profound source of best culture. In all human relations, beginning with your own family, even with your little child, don't be too overcome by your own ego. Turn away from your ego. And put in the shoes of your child. How does the child feel? Don't be too clever. Don't say, she's a child doesn't have shoes. Then you develop that attitude. Your love is not moha-based. You are loving God in your relatives. And you are loving God within your own self. So it is this, instead of being attached to relatives and friends, raga dvesha creating attachment and hatred, you go on developing profounder love of God and profounder dispassion towards earthly values. With this I'm concluding. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.